Big Six, the name sure does ring a bell for the 90s kids and fashion enthusiasts for sure. They were the big names who were both bold and stylish and ruled the fashion industry in the 90s. Why do you think they must have gotten the name? What was so special about the six of them? Continue watching to get the answers to all your doubts. Please hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed till now. The Big Six consisted of Cindy Crawford Christy Turlington, Claudia Schiffer, Linda Evangelista, Kate Moss, and Naomi Campbell. The original four started with Cindy, Christy, Linda, and Naomi. They became the Big Five when they were joined by Claudia, and the Big Six was complete with the joining of their last member, Kate. Coincidentally, some of their daughters are also leading models now. Following in their mom's footsteps are Grace Burns, Christy's daughter, Leela Grace Moss, Kate's daughter, who shares her mother's surname, and finally Kaya Gerber, Cindy's daughter. They sure are ruling the runways now, and we hope a new Big Six will come to life soon. There is a vague difference between the present fashion style and the ones they followed in the 90s. Yet, a huge impact has been formed by them for sure. Many of the supermodels present now grew up watching them and took great inspiration from them. They sure have set the standard pretty high for sure. What's the story? Where did they start? Why were there only 6 of them? Let's try knowing them one by one, where we will definitely get the answers to all the questions. Cindy Crawford. Ever heard of Baby Gia? Well, that was the name by which Cindy was popularly known. She received it due to her striking resemblance with late model of the 80s, Gia Carini. She began her career with Elite Modeling Agency in 1986 while still in school. Being a top A student, she was class valedictorian as well, and had even received a scholarship for college, which she unfortunately could not complete due to her modeling commitments. She gained fame when she was featured on the 1986 Vogue cover page. She had a birthmark on her upper lip which was highlighted and not covered up during shoots, which set a new fashion standard. And from there, these were considered to be beautiful, not something to hide. She had a huge set of admirers from the opposite gender as well, due to her nude appearance in Playboy magazine in the 1988 edition. She was the first modern model to do so. A contract with Revlon and a standing ovation at the Versace Couture show earned her some brownie points as well. Presently, she is married to Randy Gerber, a businessman and former model. The pair has 2 children, son Presley Walker Gerber and daughter Kaya Jordan Gerber. Kaya now also has a flourishing modeling career. Christy Turlington. Given the title of the greatest model of all time by casting agent James Scully, Christy sure was a deserving young woman back then. He defines her as pure perfection. He even said no model would look as good as her even if they had combined all their features. Her facial features were almost too perfect. From her cheekbones to her body, all of them gained attention fast. She began modeling at the age of 14 and was discovered by photographer Denny Cody while riding a horse. Presently, she is still being featured in campaigns for Calvin Klein and Maybelline. She has walked for many brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Yves Saint Laurent, Versace, Marc Jacobs, Valentino, Prada, Donna Karan, and many more. She got married to Edward Burns, an actor, director, and writer. They have 2 children, a daughter Grace Burns and son Finn Burns. Grace is a budding model right now and hopes to reach great heights like her mother. Claudia Schiffer. Rising to fame in the 90s, Claudia has been compared to Brigitte Bardot, a famous former actress and model. She was a shy girl back then who thought they were joking when Michael Levitin had approached her in a nightclub and asked her if she would like to model. She was just 17 back then. She was on the cover of Vogue and had become the face of Chanel in her earlier days. She was the first model to be featured on the covers of popular magazines like Vanity Fair, People, and Rolling Stone. She has walked the runway for many popular fashion houses like Versace, Chloe, Karl Lagerfeld, and many more. She has also acted in several movies like Richie Rich, Friends and Lovers, and The Blackout, to name a few. Presently, she is married to English film director Matthew Vaughn and shares with him 2 daughters and a son. Kate Moss. She is probably the most controversial yet different one in the lot. She was famous for her rebellious behavior and unfiltered look. She was probably the first model to be shot without any makeup. She was surely an inspiration for the kids to ditch the makeup and flaunt their natural beauty. She was relatively thin and short as compared to other models of her age, yet extremely beautiful and definitely changed the industry standards accordingly. She rose to fame at the end of the 90s era and as part of the heroin chic trend. Her list of controversies started with a Calvin Klein shoot where she wore skimpy attire showing her extremely thin body, which got her allegations of promoting anorexia and pedophilia. She shares a daughter, Leela Grace Moss, born in 2002, with her then-boyfriend, British publisher Jefferson Hack. Leela is seen following her mother's steps as well and has debuted into the modeling field. Linda Evangelista, best known as the face of Revlon and Versace, was a very top-rated and influential model of the 90s. She is known for being the longest muse of photographer Steven Meisel and for the famous quote, "We don't wake up for less than $10,000 a day." Her career began in 1984 with Elite Modeling Agency. She had cut her hair short by taking the suggestion of famous photographer Peter Lindbergh. She was nicknamed as Linda due to it as well. She was also known as the chameleon of the fashion industry. What a fancy name, is it not? She has not diversified into any fields other than modeling, probably due to the love towards it. She gained recognition for experimenting with styles and not shying away from any type of looks. She particularly gained attention for being a part of the Big Six, which started with the 1990 cover shoot of British Vogue. They even appeared together later for George Michael's music video Freedom 90. Versace's couture show also saw her along with other members of the Big Six walking, which even earned a standing ovation, which was a turning point in the fashion industry. She was regularly booked along with Campbell and Turlington for some top assignments, and because of the frequent pairing, they gained the name of the Holy Trinity. She was also popular due to her notorious nature and sly remarks she passed in front of the media, a famous one being, "We don't wake up for less than $10,000 a day." She has a son, Augustin James, born on 2006, but there was a bit of controversial case with the rumored father, François-Henri Pinault, who was a French businessman. The case was in regards with child support, and they chose an out-of-court settlement. And Naomi Campbell. The most recognizable face of the fashion industry, Naomi Campbell is an all-time supermodel. She has done remarkable campaign and editorial work. Let's look into what little Naomi did in her childhood. She was born in South London and did her schooling at Italia Conti Academy Stage School. She started her modeling career at just the tender age of 15. Synchro Modeling Agency signed her in, and she even appeared as one of the cover girls of the famous magazine British Elle. In the history of the modeling world, Naomi Campbell became the first black woman to be on British and French Vogue. Versace, Ralph Lauren, Dolce & Gabbana, and Yves Saint Laurent signed her in to be the face of their advertising campaigns. The year 2002 was unfortunate in the life of Naomi Campbell as she had to file a lawsuit against London's Daily Mirror. Naomi was undergoing treatment for addiction and anger issues. She even attended Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Photographs of her presence at the meeting were published by London's Daily Mirror. This triggered her as it would affect her modeling career. The court ruled in her favor, and later on she recovered from her addiction. Naomi had a rough childhood. She never got a chance to meet her biological father. Her mother, Valerie Morris, raised her to be one of the most confident girls out there. Naomi took her stepfather's surname as her last name Campbell, and she lacked a father figure in her life. Coming to her love life, in 1993, she got engaged to Adam Clayton. Their relationship ended on a bad note. She then got engaged to Flavio Briatore, a race driver. The fate of this relationship was the same as before. While most of the models we talked about are not modeling anymore, but their presence and achievements on the runway sure does amaze us till now. Those sure were the times when fashion had meaning. Which era do you think had better fashion? The supermodels now or the Big Six? Comment down your thoughts below, and please hit the subscribe button without fail. Thank you for watching our video. Come back to see more such content.